So we're just going to get right into this. And we'll use my spoon, my sharp spoon, to cut it open. Did I get all the tape? Yeah, I did. This was packaged really nicely. Actually, I'll show you a little bit of the packaging. It is kind of like the older style S.H. figure arts packaging, which is pretty cool, and gives you some images on the back. You got your little barcodes. We shall slide him right out of the packaging and get him out of his clamshell. So he comes with this cool boulder accessory, and a 2 fist hands, and the hands that he comes with in the packaging. Don't worry about that. It's supposed to do that according to the little instructions that I read on the side of the box. He is well wrapped. I always keep that stuff because, unlike most of the things that I pick up, I do keep all of my S.H. figure arts boxes. This is just on a little ball joint that connects in right here. It's not that big of a deal. It was 100% sealed, so it's definitely a factory thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, super easy. All right. Now, this is my first Ultraman monster. I've recently, in the last couple of years, got heavy into Ultraman, just because they have really nice S.H. figure arts, and I quite enjoy them. And Beast of the East was like, hey, we're trying to do some stuff with different creators and things. And I personally knew of Beast of the East Collectibles. I believe they're based out of Illinois, or Idaho, I believe Illinois. And they sent this over, so we're going to take a look at it. We have a couple comparisons, and what else we have? Yeah, we have comparisons, and then I'm not going to say everything because there's going to be a few different versions of content for this in particular figure, and we're going to start off with the weak points, which seem to be the head of the figure, which is incredibly detailed. Again, this isn't anything to do with the company, it's strictly the QC of the figure itself. It's just loose, nothing I can't fix, but you can get like a good idea of how small and fragile these clips are probably. And that just slides in there. And then there's just a little ball joint that I'll thicken with a little bit of floor polish because it's not quite pegging into place, and I think that's what is going on. So it does peg into place, it's just a loose ball joint. What's cool about this is you can use that to your advantage if you do toy photography and stuff, and like have Ultraman rip his head off. So let's get into some of the details. So this is called the Red King. There is a creator on YouTube called, I believe it's the Toku Professor, and he has a 1.5 hour long video dedicated to just this character, his lore, multiple forms, some of the backstory on the suits and things of that nature. So if you're interested, I'll make sure to link that in the comments once this video is posted. But from the knowledge that I have retained in the skimming that I did shortly before hopping on live, this is a kaiju based on a skull. He had gone through a few different looks, names, and things of that nature, and we now have the Red King, a very popular Ultraman character or villain. He fights other kaiju. He fights multiple versions of Ultraman from many different generations. First being in 1966. He appeared in episode 8, and I already forgot what the episode was called. And then he has been reimagined, redetailed, and reformatted a few different times. in the history of Ultraman, and even as recently as Ultraman Nexus, I believe, which is relatively current. So he has been seen very often in the franchise. So there's a little bit of backstory on that, being that this original design from 1960s is pretty cool, that we now have a more articulated version. And I do hope they do a couple of the variants, because he does have a few cool variants of this character in the design. The suit has been reused multiple times, as many monster suits are, and the lifespan of the original suit, it lasted pretty long, but eventually they just couldn't use it and it was too damaged. So now we're going to take a look at the brief accessories that this set comes with. He has 2 fist hands, which are nicely detailed and nicely painted. And then the boulder accessory, which is pretty cool. He throws rocks consistently throughout the lore and canon, and eventually he can even shoot flaming rocks or exploding rocks out of his mouth. And in the anime, he can also shoot like a pink laser mist type thing out. The color is a variant of like silver and like a yellow and a blue, and he's called Red King because of you definitely check out the lore, because it's a little bit more complicated but very simple on why he's called Red King, and there is variants of him being red or different colors and things. We'll start with the tail articulation. It seems like there is just a bunch of ball pegs or double ball pegs throughout the tail. So you got one right here. There's a segment that looks like it moves, but it does. It was just kind of stuck. You get a little bit of rotation there, not much wiggle. If you have anything that's stuck on something like this, definitely use a little bit of heat, like a hair dryer or some hot water, but not boiling. So it seems like he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of segmentation on the tail, and they get larger as the tail proceeds to the base of his bum. Make sure everything is lined up properly. There we go. So you do have a decent amount of range. Just be wary that those ball joints will pop, which is good because you don't want anything to break on you. So you do get some decent tail motion. Just gotta finagle with it a little bit, but it's cool that there's 10 segmented parts of the tail coming to his legs before we go to the midsection. They're also on drop down ball hinges, ball pegs, so you can drop his leg down, you can bring his leg up. So that's it, drop down, and that's it, up. So you actually do get some utilization out of this. Sometimes it's just there and you don't need it, but for figures like this, it definitely helps give you more range. Kind of kicks off to the side backwards and same forward, but still works pretty nicely. You get that thigh rotation at that joint as well. Coming to the knee, it's cool how hidden all the joints are. Like, sure, there's cuts, but there's no like actual joint that you can see. His knee seems pretty good. I mean, for a chunky monster, it's pretty decent. I'd say it's almost 90 degrees. There is rotation at that as well. I think it's double jointed. There's just this, and then there's a point right here. But that's about as much range as you'll get out of that. Probably just shy of 90 degrees. You can probably force it to 90. It's almost there. It's like, I'd say that's like 87. And then you got a ball in the ankle with this little cap thing that's going to hinder some of your articulation, but you do have ankle pivots. I believe it's on a ball hinge, so it doesn't go back or forward. Oh, it goes forward pretty good. It doesn't go back very far, but you do get a pivot from side to side, and it also rotates. Same on the other leg, of course. This one actually is a little bit more free, but yeah, it's definitely almost 90. There's just illusion due to the sculpt. But the ankles, yeah, the ankles are a little bit limited, but the legs are pretty cool. Coming to the lower midsection, I'm just looking where there's cuts. So there's one right here. Again, really nicely hidden, really nicely sculpted. This thing's really impressive. Oh, cool. And that just moves around. So you get a little bit of a twist there. You get some side to side, a little bit of back. Actually pretty okay forward. And it even exposes some detail that's hidden. So that's cool. Let's do that again. Fold that up over and it goes up 3. So that's really nice that they continued that detail. You don't see that very often. And it's crazy to me that they just randomly do it. It's like they really cared about this design. And then up here, there's also a similar thing going on. Is that also 3? No, it's 2. It leans forward. There will be a little bit of a gap right here, but it allows you to lean forward at this joint too, which is actually pretty good. Nothing came undone. It's just starting to free itself up. So let's see how far you can get it forward. So you do up 3, and then up 2. That's pretty good. Didn't really show you the detail of the tail. So there's like an underside variant, and it kind of like fades. So that's pretty lit. Pretty cool, I shouldn't say lit. I'm an adult. Coming to the neck before we go to the arms, this is also segmented. There's one here, 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 and then you saw, if you were here at the beginning, that the mouth is on a double ball peg and a hinge for the jaw. So you have this lower neck, which gives you a little bit of rotation, a little bit of side to side, not a lot. But it is there. Coming to this mid neck, you get a little bit more range, and it's a little bit more free. Tiny bit, not by much. And then coming to the upper neck. Goes up about that far. It's not the best neck articulation, but it is there. You're mostly just getting it to like lean forward is really what it seems like those segments want to do, and some side to side. It's crazy that this is designed after somebody like the actual suit, which is really cool about these in particular kaiju. And you have a floating cap for the shoulder piece, so it allows you to just move that arm super freely. No real issues at all there. And then it's also segmented the same as the knees, and there is texture and sculpt continued into the joints. So I think this is probably just a single. Yeah, it continues even into this cavity. It's not the best range, but you can do like the pose if you are familiar with this character, where when he gets mad, he like smacks his neck. And what are these ball hinges? So they're okay, not the best range. I also don't want to break anything. So you almost get horizontal on those shoulders. Yeah, you get about horizontal in the shoulders. And it is a pseudo double joint. Let's see. No, it's just a single with a cap. And this cap hides a ball hinge, which goes into the arm, which goes into the shoulder. That makes sense. So let me now to line this up. So there you go. Easy peasy. I do like how it does take a little bit of force to get those joints to pop, but they do pop in with about the same amount of force. So yeah, there's a ball hinge for just like a single joint, and then you got a ball in this arm that's also connected to another ball hinge. So that's pretty cool. Wrists are, I assume, 1 ball hinges. Nope, just a double ball peg, just a little baby double ball. So you just get a little bit of wiggle in the range. Granted, it doesn't really hold anything as like a weapon or anything, but you get a decent amount of range. I'd say the fault of this entire figure is just the head, or maybe I fixed it. Like, you can't open his mouth too much, and you gotta get this to like cooperate. There we go. But it is kind of funny. His mouth opens like this. And the accessory, so it's this hand. Let's see how this is heavy. It's not hollow. But let's see how it looks before we do a brief size comparison with other Ultramen. So yeah, you can throw the rock. He can throw that rock. And here he is. And it doesn't like weigh his arm down too bad easy either. So that is nice. So for size comparison, I brought in not all of my Ultramen because I want to use some other ones for the more laid out and planned but not scripted YouTube review, as well as a reel for this set. So I'm not gonna disclose everything, but just give you like a general first impression look at this figure, just in case you don't want to wait and want to pick one up for yourself either before or after Christmas. The link is active, but this is recorded live, so after I will post the link in the comments. So for size comparison, let's start with the Ultraman Blazar. So you can see how they scale together. Probably switch sides, yeah. So it's a good scale. Bring in the Ultraman Trigger Multi-Type. The figure that got me into S.H. Figure Arts Ultraman in the first place. I keep doing that. It's like a habit I have. They're roughly all the same height, but just so you can see what they look like together. Ultraman Dyna, which is a really cool figure. Again, I keep doing that. Oh man, what's wrong with me? And then Ultraman Reboot, which is like more of an older-ish suit, because I guess I just don't have it, the original Ultraman, even though I've had awful opportunity to pick one up. And then for a comparison that's a little bit bigger, here is the Good Smile Company Gridman, or Superhuman Samurai, and he's just bigger because he also combines into a mecha. So he's a little bit bigger, but there is a S.H. Figure Arts version of that coming out. But I really like this. I didn't know who the Red King was, honestly, for a long time. I've seen this design, I've seen this figure. Well, not this figure. Actually, I've seen this figure. I've seen vinyls. I've watched episodes and battles and all kinds of things featuring this character. And I guess I just never really realized that there were so many Ultraman figure arts, because I always think of Monster Arts, which is a little bit more expensive, in my opinion. This would be a little bit easier if I didn't slice my finger open before I did this, with something completely unrelated. But the articulation on this guy is pretty solid. I don't know if you follow me. If you don't, you should. But I did post some pictures of the S.H. Figure Arts Earth Garang from Ultraman Blazar, and this pose is pretty similar to him, but I feel like this is way more sturdy. And I really like the sculpt and the overall paint. It just looks a lot better than, I guess you would say, like the Red Eyes Black Dragon, who's just like a Red Eyes Black Dragon, and it's not like hyper detailed anyway. It's just kind of a basic anime looking dragon. But this guy looks really, really good. It's a really nice representation of a kaiju from the show, and I can't get over the texture and the detail and how they made it look like it is made from like the 1960s kind of level of material. It's a little bit like rough, and the surfaces aren't smooth. So within the texture, there's texture, and within that texture, there's different textures. So I really like that. Blue is a really nice highlight. They did a really good job on it. It's almost a little bit better looking than the show, which is sick. I never really noticed this in the show, just due to the lighting. A lot of it is just like the front or the side of him. But this is a really cool figure. I'm very impressed with how articulated this one is. I think that's one of the things that holds me back from picking up kaiju like this, even though it's like something else that I really enjoy. Where'd I put that accessory? But yeah, they could definitely be able to. I'm just gonna try. This is super quick. Don't think about it. Just do it type posing. This human body goes this way. He's a humanoid. And there is him just like facing off against him, I guess, really quickly. This is a good figure too. They also have this in stock on Beast Collectibles, so you can check that out if you're interested, for sure. Do it. And what's nice about them is if you are a domestic or US based toku collector and you just keep missing out on things, they have an open suggestion policy. Not a policy, but they have open suggestions. So if there's something that you would like them to have available on a regular basis, definitely let them know. Their main focus is like Godzilla and Kaiju and Ultraman and things like that, but if you ask, it seems like they add new categories. So definitely, being a small business, it'd be cool to get in there early and give them some of your toku suggestions. I myself am going to give them some suggestions of things that I would also like to see, as well as adding a little bit more variety to the Ultraman selection, and maybe some Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, since Super Sentai figure arts are kind of coming back, but not like full comeback. But this is definitely a really, really solid kaiju figure. Has a nice amount of articulation. Detail is the highlight of the set. The packaging is relatively basic, but still looks really nice. It is of the colors of this character. My biggest gripe overall is just the way the head is out of the box for me. But once I fix that, it doesn't seem to be doing what it did. Yeah, it's not doing what it did at the beginning of this video, just like completely falling apart. I don't know, maybe it just wasn't fully attached all the way, because it's not doing that now. So, because when I touched it out of the packaging, it just fell off. So I guess it's just, it wasn't a main thing, because this isn't even as loose as it was. That's just on a hinge, so I would expect that. And then, if you're not familiar with S.H. Figure Arts, I'd say the recommended age is like, I think it's 15 up, 15 plus, but I'd say like, in this day and age, like maybe like 13 or 14 and up, especially if they're like avid collectors. I know some kids who are young little brilliant geniuses when it comes to photography and things. So this is definitely worth it if you are a toku fan, a kaiju fan, or just want something kind of cool or texturized, because this definitely has some sensory to it, being that it's so textured, and all the joints are pretty easy to adjust. Things just like pop on. You don't really need adult force for it. Yeah, it's not that bad. I think if these were a tiny bit longer, there'd be gaps, but there'd be more range. But I appreciate there being little to no gapping in this figure's overall body. Besides, like right here, super hollow. You can see kind of the makeup of him, which is fine. At least he has a sturdy exoskeleton, and then the inner skeleton is pretty sturdy as well. I'm glad it's not like Lego, because it's brown plastic, and the brown plastic on a lot of things tends to shatter over time. But yes, thank you so much to Beast of the East Collectibles for sending this over. Stay tuned for whenever I drop my more in-depth, planned out, cleaned up, not recorded live, but not fully scripted YouTube review. And I'm going to do something kind of cool. Well, I'm going to try to do something kind of cool for a reel to get you to go watch that YouTube video in a shorter form. And I'll definitely be taking pictures of this guy. He's not going back in the packaging until I have to shoot the YouTube video, but I probably won't even put him in the box. For that, I'll probably just do something different. I always make sure to do research before posting YouTube reviews because I don't really have that many, and that's because I do a lot of research and I want to make sure I have something worth offering to the audience who may or may not stumble upon my videos on this wonderful internet. This is a weird setup that Facebook has going on, just to be honest. It zooms everything way out. Like, this is way further away from the actual camera than reality is. So if you're not a huge fan of how this looks with like a really, I don't know, what is it? The perception is like weird from my angle, so definitely leave a comment if it looks weird to you or if it looks good and everything is clean and crisp to the best of its ability, of course, because I'm just trying to find a nice setup that everybody will enjoy. So to wrap this up, again, I will drop a link to this in the comments. He, at the time of this video, was on sale, and they do have a wide variety of other kaiju toku style monsters, and again, they are kind of open for suggestions and things. And I think if it's within this kind of branch, because there is a lot of like new Kamen Rider figures coming out, there's a Wingman that's like tokusatsu related, and there's other companies that make like a tokusatsu Power Ranger-esque show in different countries as well. There's like Armor Heroes and things, which I've also recently gotten more into the like S.H. figure arts styled action figures. He's a little bit taller, but not that much taller. And there you have it. Again, thank you so much to Beast of the East Collectibles for sending this over. I really, really, really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for sticking around while I figure out how to adjust my schedule to fit in different types of content and make all of it. So yeah, give me a follow, give me a comment, let me know if you enjoy this style of live video where I just kind of go right into it with a very brief amount of information that I looked up like an hour to 30 minutes before I go live. And if you like this setup, if you want me to change it every time I go live, and what else you would like to see in a live content form, so I can reach my goal of 100K and my other goal of like 600,000 or 60,000 live viewed minutes or something like that. I don't know. I've been close a couple of times, but sometimes I just don't know what to say. But with that, thank you again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. The link for this and probably this guy will be in the comments below. This guy for sure. I'm pretty sure this guy's still in stock. Regardless, I'll see you guys next time.